So, hey guys, now I'm joined by Zoe Godding. Zoe, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi everyone, so my name is Zoe Godding, or you may also know me by Future Doctore Zoe on my YouTube channel. So I'm a third year medical student studying at DLSL Medical and Health Sciences Institute here in the Philippines.
Zoe, so given you come actually from an interesting background in that you actually took part in a med fast track program wherein you don't usually you're not taking the traditional route where it's 4 years of undergrad followed by 4 to 5 years of med school. So could you give our viewers a brief overview of what that is?
So my undergrad is BS Human Biology, so it's a shortened course wherein it only takes 6 years for you to actually finish medicine. So you have 2 years of undergrad that starts at De La Salle University there in Manila, so DLSU Manila in Taft. So you're there for 2 years. They basically just give you the subjects that you need to prepare for med school, but not so much that you're super prepared for med school. So they just really give you the fundamentals. And so after the 2 years, your third year in that program is your first year in medicine. So then you can, after you finish that, you graduate after those 3 years, and then you can choose to continue your second year in medicine, or you can choose to transfer to a different medical school. But since it's a fast track, it makes more sense to continue it in LaSalle.
Mm. So, given that the human biology program, the fast track program in DLSU, is not the only one available in the Philippines at the time you applied, at least, that there's also the Inter-Med program in UP. What made you
Yeah.
choose to go to the one in DLSU instead of applying for Inter-Med?
Well, I actually was not really accepted. I was given a chance to interview for Intermed also,
Mm.
but then I at the same time I was also given a scholarship at LaSalle. So I was kind of really torn because there's this signature that you have to
Yeah,
sign
the return
if
service
ever.
agreement.
Yeah. So it's like if I'm going to interview for Intermed, if I get chosen, I'm stuck there. But then if I interview for the LaSallian scholarship, if I get chosen, it's like a contract that I have to go there. So I decided that maybe I want to go for the scholarship first because it felt like they were really courting me. So I was like, okay, I get a scholarship until med school, which was pretty cool, plus allowance. So I think mostly because of the scholarship that LaSalle offered, I chose to go for LaSalle. And also because I felt that the student environment was more suitable to my personality in LaSalle.
And I guess also having that flexibility of choosing, of at least having the option of where to go for med school,
Yeah,
in just in case
yeah.
you wanted to, go somewhere else.
Yeah, and also because the internship also in LaSalle, you can choose wherever to go, like in the
Mm-hmm.
fast track program, and you also don't have to like stay in the Philippines because I wanted to have that option to take the USMLE at the time. So I was like, what if I want to study, continue my medicine abroad? So I thought LaSalle would help me do that because I think for intermed you have to have a return of service also, but yeah, something like that. I'm
Yeah,
not really sure. Not the specialty. I don't know what
yeah,
intermed.
cause I applied to UPCM after I graduated, and basically the return service agreement is that you need to provide 3 years of return service after you graduate and take the physician licensure exam, and and that's a contractual agreement. Otherwise,
Mhm.
it results in you paying a fee to the government. So basically, you pay double your tuition had you
Yeah.
studied in a private school. So that's a I guess a double-edged sword in that you get a subsidized tuition from the government, but you are kind of chained to the Philippines in a way to
Yeah, I
provide
mean,
back to your country.
same. I mean, I love the Philippines also, and I also end up making the decision that I want to practice medicine here. But I guess at the time when I was choosing, I wanted the option, like if ever I did want to go abroad.
So, in choosing to pursue your medical education, to continue your medical education with LaSalle, other than obviously the pragmatics of not repeating first year of med school, why did you also decide to go to DLSMHSI? Man, that's a mouthful. DLSMHSI.
Yeah. So I chose also LaSalle because I went to the campus first before I made any decision as well. I looked at the campus and I was like, okay, I think it's very pretty here. The facilities are brand new. The anatomy lab was very nice. It was air conditioned. There were a lot of cadavers that would be available for the students. So like the ratio was nice also for your first year med, which I thought was really important. And then our exams are all computerized. So there's a whole computer lab for like about 300 computers for taking exams. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like they're going paperless. And I just liked how the classrooms were. I loved the facilities, and I loved how kind the scholarship offices were like. So it made me feel like they were really student friendly, and the university is really student centered. So it kind of refactored in also in my decision.
Mm. But like, I guess like it was worth it. Like even though you're like you grew up in Manila and then you go all the way to Cavite to
Yeah.
like how was that transition like? So you spent like 2 years, like basically majority your entire life here in the city, and then suddenly boom all the way to the province.
Yeah, at first it was really a big adjustment because there's not much places to eat at. So you're like constantly sad. You're like, oh, am I gonna eat McDonald's fried chicken again, or am I gonna do Wings Avenue again? So if you want like good food, you have to drive out to like town or Molito if you wanted to eat something nice, or even Avia. There are a lot of malls that are close by. A lot of us actually even go to Tagaytay. I think the adjustment was hard in the beginning. It felt lonely, but at like after a while, like after a few months, I loved the slow pacedness of the vibe. Like everything was just super chill. The trees were very windy. It felt like you were like away from the busy, bustling city streets. Like it just felt kind of peaceful. So it was like it encouraged a lot of nap times also. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine. Like it's also like it gave me an opportunity to feel more independent as well as a person, because like I super sanay having my mom or people at home helping out in all of the cooking and everything. So being like in an actual province where it takes too long to drive back, it like helped me become more independent also.
And there's also that sense of tranquility, like comparing Taft to like province. It's like there's no more light pollution. The air is
Yeah.
clean. It's like
Yeah.
it's like
Especially in the campus. It feels like you're in a different place when you're in the DLSMHSI campus. Lots of trees and everything. You're like, oh.
how big is the campus? It's like compared to DLSU Manila.
Mm, I I think well, because DLSU Manila is like there are different buildings that are far from the main part also, so I can't really like tell. They're
At least for
more or
the
less the
med
same, I
school, for
think.
like the med school, like how big
Well,
is the
the med building is just a building, but there's a whole campus where there's the library, then the animal center, and like a football field, and all of those stuff at the back. They're planning to actually expand it and to create a dormitory center and more buildings at the back. Like they bought land at the back where they're gonna build more stuff, which sadly I'm not gonna enjoy because they're just starting the building now.
how would you describe like the curriculum at your school? Because like I know to my understanding there are like two schools of thought when it comes to teaching medicine here in the Philippines. There's the subject based where there's individual subjects like with separate grades, and then there's the OSI organ system integration where it's modular, where everything is combined into a single subject, and like you're just taught in that series for like for example if you're cardiology, everything's cardiology related, as opposed to like I think in UST where is like physiology and anatomy are separated. So if you finish like physiology first, you'll move on to the next organ system, leaving and if you're still in anatomy, you're not yet done with the organ system, you still continue until you're done. So there can be like a disjoint.
Well, so in first year and second year med, I would say that all of in LaSalle there are different subjects. So it's subject based, but all of the subjects are like aligned that they're teaching the same topic at the same time. So like if you would be studying, let's say GIT infections in microbiology. You'd be also studying the medications and pharmacology for GIT infections as well. Then you'll study approach to GIT in like internal med. So it's like they're separate subjects, but they're at like the same topic. So like it kind of helps in a way when you're studying for pathology. It's like a review already for internal med. But then now, when the online classes started, LaSalle kind of adjusted it to a modular system now. It's still a little bit like brand new because a lot of us are not used to it. They're trying to change the system wherein it's like what the other schools are doing now. Like there's a GIT a GI module, sorry, not GIT, a GI module, an IDS module. So now they're combining all of the subjects into one module, but I feel like they're still grading it per subject, which is where there's lots of confusion for us as students. Like it's a module, but there's still separate grading systems happening. Yeah, I think for now, I'm not sure if they're going to adjust it, but upon my understanding about how our modular system works is that, for example, our previous exam, we had infectious diseases module. So we had internal medicine, pediatrics, surgery, ortho, uh, IM, and forgot the others, but and pharma and clinical pharma all integrated into an infectious disease module. But then all of the subjects gave their own questions, and then you'll be graded in the exam based on your right or wrong of their questions that they gave for the test. So that's where a lot of us worry because some of the items are like, let's say they only gave you 7 items for ortho. I myself only got like 3 points out of 7, and so like that's a fail already if we grade it per subject. But I think what the school is planning to do is they're planning to make it accumulative, so
Yeah,
all of your scores per module per that subject at the end. I don't know if they're going to make adjustments to that, but that's what they said, what how it will happen. And of course, a lot of us students, which is it's all brand new to us, we're like, oh, what is this, what's happening?
I
So
think
yeah, we're adjusting.
I think that'll be the case where it'll be cumulative because that's what we do here in ASMPH. It's like they just total. So you want to pay attention to your mistakes because they pile up. They will
Yeah,
pile up.
exactly, exactly. That's why I'm already looking now. I was like, oh no, I need to stop focusing too much on internal medicine and
Yeah, it's
start
like
looking at community medicine. My grades are going down.
you pick and choose your battles. You pick and choose
Yeah,
your battles in
exactly.
every exam. So how often are your exams in your school?
I guess now, based on our schedule, it looks like our exams are going to be weekly for third year at least.
Prior to that, well, how often were they?
I think when it was in second year, it would be like there'd probably be 2 to 3 exams every other week. There are a lot of exams. I think in LaSalle, kasi how we do it is that they give you more exams, so you have more chances to score higher. But I
Mm.
don't know if they're changing that now since it's modular. I think for our first semester, we have around 18 or more or less exams for the first semester.
Oh wow, that's a lot. But like I think it's similar to in my school where it's like it's every week. Because like in some school in other like in UE, what they do is that they have an exam week and that's their finals week and then they hold that every month. So I think that's the what the traditional schools do is that they have an
Yeah,
exam week every month
yeah.
and
Ours
then
is
they
like we have exams every week or every other week, and then you have the semestrals and then a finals.
okay, so they have like a comprehensive exam at
Yeah,
the end.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so like when in your school, because like I find like from interviewing my friends at other medical schools, there seems to be like a difference in philosophy, like when med schools start teaching its students clinical skills. So when did you start getting taught the different basic clinical skills such as patient interview, OSCE, and so on?
A lot of we already had simulations in first year med. Like we were already learning a lot of the basic stuff like palpations and all those
Mm-hmm.
stuff in first year already. Then we had, and then in second year we had a subject that was just dedicated to physical diagnosis. So we would have already patients, fake patients, actor patients who would
Mm-hmm.
pretend that they have like a disease or something, and so yeah, and then supposedly in third year we're already supposed to have more like interaction with real patients, and it was kind of sad because of the quarantine. For second year we're also supposed to have an experience to practice with kids also for pediatrics, but we weren't able to do that because of the quarantine. So yeah, I think LaSalle starts pretty early because they really prioritize patient care. Like they want you to be able to be equipped as a clinician and how you interact with your patients also.
Yeah, it's like same here for my school. Like, cause I think like they in our first module in ASMPH, it's like we're already like trained to how to conduct the patient interview, even just like basic history taking, and then like also same with you guys, the basic movements, palpation, even auscultation to a certain extent. Okay, so how would you describe like the teaching philosophy or style of your school? Are you guys more lecture based, like pure lecture, or do they give you other opportunities to further your learning, such as small group discussions or team based learning?
Yeah, I feel like majority of the subjects do lecture-based types, but there are also a lot of group works that they do. Like even our library has really nice discussion rooms, which I'm kind of guilty I don't use. But like I think we have most of our group works are like probably if I would think about it, maybe there's like I'd say 3 to 4 more or less group works that we have per subject. And then we have integrations activities wherein we meet as a class based on case studies that we discussed as a small group. And then we present them. So yeah, I think LaSalle's pretty mixed, but more on lecture types, I think. But I think they give us enough other subjects wherein we do physical stuff also. Sorry, I kind of sound malabo, but yeah.
Yeah, because I think like it's a given that lectures will be the
Yeah,
the
med
mainstay for
schools.
all med schools. Yeah. So okay. So other than just like the standard like group works and lectures, like does the school offer you other opportunities to further your own learning through your own initiatives, such as doing research, having research assistants jobs, or being allowed to take electives abroad during clerkship?
For that, I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find anyone to answer my questions. But I know you're allowed to take you have the option to take electives when you're in fourth year when you're a clerk. I'm just not sure if there's a partnership abroad. I think there is, but I'm not entirely sure. But I know that yeah, electives are when you're in fourth year. For research studies, we actually have a research that we make in second year med school. And then if your research is good, like if they like your research, you have a chance to present it. Like one of my friends, his research was chosen for a competition. Their group research was chosen for a competition, and then they were able to go to a different, I'm not sure if it was a country or a province to present the research. So
Mm.
yeah, we have that research class in second year, but I'm not sure if you can go on your own. I think you have to like ask around for those stuff.
Yeah, because like like in some schools, there are teachers that are like looking for students to assist them in writing their papers. So like they
Yeah.
offer that opportunity to the students.
Mm-hmm.
So so given that we've like transitioned to obviously now remote learning, how would you describe your experience doing so? Like, what are the challenges you've faced, and what have you done to face those challenges and overcome them?
So for our system in LaSalle, when we're doing our online classes, they already upload all of the lecture videos a week before the actual schedule. So it's all there already. And then there are some simple tasks that you can do per lecture video. Not all videos have them, but some do. So it's just a simple 5 item quiz that you can take whenever you can. And then they kind of, at first it was really overwhelming because the deadlines were crazy. There were too many things to do. There were too many things to study. But the great thing is, they were able to listen to us. So they gave us a chance to talk about our difficulties, and they adjusted the schedule for us. Like, in fact, our infectious disease module was originally one exam and it was intense, but they broke the exam into two and then gave us more time to study for it because we asked for it. So I guess it's great that it's overwhelming, but LaSalle is listening and adjusting to us. And it so right now I'm kind of slowly adjusting. I guess my problem is just my own self-discipline, like end up a lot on Netflix. But what I try to do is that I try to make sure that I follow the day's lecture like as scheduled the day before. So I have to make sure that all of Monday's lecture were already studied on Sunday, and all of Tuesday's lecture was studied already on Monday, so that I'm at least one day ahead. That's if I'm like in the mood. But yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. And we also have like opportunities for a synchronous session, which is more of our Q&A session. So we ask questions about stuff we couldn't find. And it's also the time where our professors would give us the rationalizations for the quizzes that they gave us, like why is this the answer in that quiz. And then something that I found pretty amazing also in our school is it's not really a school effort, it's more of an effort of a prof that we have in our school. He hosts review sessions almost every night for different batches, like any batch who requests, and then he reviews us on all of the topics that we have. Like right now we are in the GI module, and then he already asked us for different topics we found confusing, and he's gonna hold a 2-day review tomorrow and on Saturday to review us on topics we discuss, which is pretty great. So those are for the people who need a more synchronous style of learning.
Yeah, it's like I feel that with the transition to remote learning is that one thing that a lot of us are having trouble is, especially like this is, I think this goes for most med students, is the sudden removal of structure that med school provided us, because we didn't really have to think hard about what we're gonna do throughout the day, because the school already did that for us, and then suddenly we now study in the same place where we sleep. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly, yeah, that's so true. And also because there's so much free time for yourself, because like it's really your time to choose when to study, and so you might overstudy a topic instead of, compared to before where you just listen in class. But I think for me, it kind of suits my learning style, because I really had a difficult time paying attention in class. Like it was so easy for me to fall asleep in class. But I think now it suits my learning style to be able to choose when to learn. I guess the only thing I really miss is being around other people. Like when I'm having a hard time, I could just be like, "Oh, I'm so sad. This is so hard. Do you understand what's going on?" So now I can't really do that anymore. Like I can't bug my seatmate and be like, "Are you getting this?"
Yeah, it's like I think like one advantage at least of the asynchronous classes is that if you miss something, you can easily just replay it. And
Exactly.
and then you have the option now to like just speed through the lectures, because sometimes lectures are just going so slow and you're just like times two speed.
Exactly. I remember that. Right, like I remember also listening to lectures, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'll just listen to the recording and go times 2 speed or something." But so yeah, so I think that's a cool option now that everything could be faster. And yeah, it's just really the human interaction that you tend to miss.
Yeah, because it's really the that having that social safety net of
Yeah.
your classmates. It's like I think that's what we will really miss about med school for now.
Yeah.
It's like
I
it's
mean,
like
I try to adjust. Like what I did to adjust to missing other humans is my friends and I created like a Discord server where we would just hang out there whenever we're studying something, so people could just hop in and hop out when they're studying. And like even though there's Discord and I could be watching my friends studying at the same time, it still feels different. Like I still wish I could physically disrupt them while they're studying. Because
yeah
I don't know if this is a habit of yours. Like we'd always tease each other and be like, "Stop studying! Don't study with me!" or something like that. You kind of just miss all of those interactions.
yeah, it's like it's I think like the teasing, the kwentuhan, it's like that
Yeah,
that social interaction is like I think it's just like a core
they keep you
aspect.
sane.
Yeah, they keep you sane. It's like when you can just vent out to your friends and they're like, oh yeah, same.
Yeah, exactly. And they can help you keep up with what's going on. Like now that it's online, like all the announcements are there, but I kind of miss my friends like constantly reminding me, "So you don't forget to pass this," because it's so easy to forget to meet a deadline now that it's online.
Okay, so having studied in medical school now for like going on to your third year of medical school, do you have any advice for people entering med school, like freshmen and any current medical students? Any general advice for them?
I feel like the most useful advice is to make sure that this is definitely something that you want to do, that there's no external pressure, your parents aren't forcing you, and it's really your own passion that you want to study medicine, because there are going to be so many moments where you feel like you're giving up, or you feel like you're questioning yourself if this is truly what you want. And you have to make sure that your purpose for studying medicine is really something genuine and sincere to you, because that purpose is what's going to help you keep going in times where things get really difficult.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because like one that's a common response from a lot of my other friends. That's like your why is so important when you enter med school, and it's like
Exactly.
it's gonna carry you through the tough times.
Super. So true.
Okay, so so how would you describe like like going to entering med school at a young age, because like most people who enter med school are like already in their like what 20. I think when I entered med school I was like I was 22. Yeah, I was 22 when I entered med school. But like you, since you're in a fast track program, you actually enter like, at 20, 19, 20 years old. So most people, like you're 2 years younger than your average medical student.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising because when I went to med school, there were actually a lot of other young people there also. There were other people who had other fast tracks also, and there are people who didn't have like they didn't complete the 12 years of high school thing or whatever. So I was like surprised. I thought I was going to be the youngest, but apparently there were a lot of young people there also. But they just it wasn't that bad actually. Like you kind of forget the age after a while. It's like everyone, it just feels all the same, like we're all starting from ground zero. But yeah, it was an adjustment. Like, oh, I'm with some people who are moms, I'm with some people who are dads, people who have careers before they started med school. So like you could definitely see the different levels of maturity. But I think I feel lucky that in my batch we seem to like just mix well together.
Like, do you feel that given you entered med school at such a young age, do you feel that the amount of growing up you needed to do like increase exponentially as a result of that?
I guess I really missed the I missed the college life. Like, you know, when you're supposed to have those 4 years of college so that you can really feel that you've matured already. I kind of missed out on that. So I had to mature in med school, which was kind of hard to do in Cavite since you're stuck in a province compared to if you were in LaSalle. You'd have time to do more social interactions. But yeah, I feel like in a way it made me feel like I was missing out on all the fun my other friends my age were having back in Manila. But also it kind of also pushed me to be like, okay, you're here in Cavite, you have no choice, just study and focus. But I guess I was also glad because there are many opportunities to have fun also. Like for some funny reason, there's also a nightlife in Cavite.
Wow, right? Really, it's like even with everything being like quite a distance away.
No, actually, the local bars are like walking distance. It's
Oh, okay.
crazy, yeah. And I would like I remember being super culture shocked the first time I went to a local bar because like I was so used to going out through BGC and all those stuff, but it was actually pretty fun. Like there's the music's pretty decent. The thing that actually was really big in my med school for the nightlife or having fun was like karaoke. A lot of people went to sing and to hang out, so it was pretty cool. Like there are a lot of chill Numans every night. I think that's how a lot of students coped with their stress.
So, how would you describe like life outside the classroom um in like DLSM HSI? Because like obviously you've already discussed now the social life there, but how's like the extracurricular culture, the org culture?
Okay, I kind of feel guilty for that because I don't really join that much orgs, but there are a lot of orgs in LaSalle. So like there are orgs that are more specific to preparing yourself as a clinician. Like I think they call it MPL, where they teach you like how to draw. There's a dance crew, the med dance crew, med sound, where they play musical instruments, and then they're also like I think there's also an outdoor club, but I don't know if that they're still pretty active. And then actually it's not really an org, but the kind of organization maybe, but they don't call themselves an organization, that I joined is called Transcend. So it's more of like it's kind of a nerdy thing. Like we just practice for competitions in case like a pool of students, if ever gonna compete, they send you there. But a lot of people are more into they're also, sorry, rambling. They're also like religious orgs. Like it's called Agape, I think, where
Mm-hmm.
people join in. Sorry, that's kind of bad. I don't know how to say that.
I think it's like
They're
the religious
they're
youth group. I think
yeah,
that's the better way to describe
there's
it.
a religious youth group called Agape also. So yeah, I think I'm more active also in sports. So there are different varsity teams or med teams that you can join. There's basketball, swimming, etc. Because I'm sure you know about Palarong
Yeah,
Med, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I joined football. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
a football player. So we train in a very beautiful field though. We usually train in somewhere in Alabama. Is it Alabama? I forgot what was the name of that new field.
How often did you guys train when when being able to train for sports was still a thing?
Yeah, I think I would say we didn't really train so much. We probably trained only like once a month or one. If it was nearing the games, we'd train like more. I was actually pretty lazy to attend some of the trainings because like after med you just want to like crawl in your bed and sleep. But yeah, it's pretty fun though. Like a lot of I think the basketball team and the volleyball team are more like into daily trainings. I know the basketball team probably plays weekly. I think at least my friends they play weekly.
Like, did you participate in Palarong Med, like during your
I
first year?
was supposed to in second year.
Oh, okay. So you sat out first year, and then
Yeah,
sadly second year
yeah,
didn't pan out.
in first year I was supposed to go abroad during the weekend of Palarong Med, so I couldn't go.
Having like been a student now at DLSMHSI for like like more than 2 years, it's like, what's one thing about your school that you really love?
That's a hard question. What do I really love?
Like, it can be multiple things if you're finding it hard to narrow
I
it down.
guess I think one of the things I really like is the scholarships in LaSalle. They're pretty generous with the scholarship. As long as you meet the grades, you get the scholarship. And also, I feel like I feel they're very supportive. A lot of the faculty and especially the mentoring program that LaSalle has makes you feel like you're really like being attended to. At least in my personal experience, I felt like they were really caring about me and what was happening to me. And I guess another thing I really love about LaSalle is the facilities. I think I've already mentioned that the facilities are really great. and and also, if I would choose like one of the best things about studying in LaSalle is I met a professor who really inspired me to take my learning seriously and to always study for my patients. Like it's really crazy. Like you are brought into places to learn things. Like sometimes you wonder why am I here, what I'm doing here, and then like meeting that professor, I'm like, okay, this is the reason why I'm studying here, so that I can be inspired to hear exactly what he has to say.
Hmm. And then, as a follow-up question to that, is like, what's one thing about your school that you wish that they would like add, or yeah, what's one thing that you wish your school would add in like in the near future within your remaining stay at the school?
I guess one thing I'm really excited about is that they were planning to add in an additional clinical ward that is focused for the students themselves to learn from, like a sole ward that they're going to build. And they said that it's supposed to be open by the time we're clerks already, but I don't know if that's going to be delayed because of the pandemic. But
Yeah,
I think that's something that I feel would be super great. Like if we had more experiences with actual patients, like the more exposure to them would be so great to your learning, especially how you treat people. Like if you get that early on already as a med student, I feel like that will impact you a lot. And it's pretty cool that LaSalle is working towards that.
that's pretty cool. So like, you have a dedicated ward just within your hospital just for medical students.
I don't know, not just for medical students, but for medical students to learn from.
Yeah, like this is where like
Yeah,
all the patient encounters will be
yeah,
conducted.
yeah. It's
Oh,
pretty
that's
cool. Yeah,
cool.
that's what they told us they were planning to make. So I was like, oh, that's so exciting. I hope that gets done by the time I'm fourth year.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I feel that'd be a very like fruitful experience to
Mm-hmm.
encounter. Okay, so before we end this interview, is there anything you'd like to promote? Just obviously besides your channel.
So yeah, if you guys like listening to me talk, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, Future Doctor Zoe. Subscribe and join me in my journey towards becoming a doctor. You can also, if you'd like to support if you'd like to support a small business, maybe you want to check out Sukoshi Sushi. It's I made a video with them in one of my videos in my channel for my 1,000 milestone. So you can check that out. The sushi bake is really good. So maybe you would want to buy your own as well.
Okay, links to all of those guys will be down in the description, so check it out if you're interested. Okay,
Yeah, thank you
so
for having me.
thank you so much for your time, Zoe. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's fun. Bye.